Hi, Livin Guardians, Unseen Inquisitor here. So, rapidly approaching Crota's end, debuting September 1st. Let's do a basic refined video discussing some prep that we can do for that raid specifically. I went over the contest mode concept itself. I went over my thoughts on speculating on how the encounters could be tweaked as best I could as a best guess. So now we're here to kind of refine our preparation a bit more to get ready for launch of the raid. So pull up a chair, hang out, and share your thoughts in the comment section down below and be part of the conversation. So we really are in the dark until we get the raid in our hands and we get to see exactly what's changed. But we can do some prep. The first, of course, as I mentioned in the encounters video, you want to check out some form of Destiny 1 raid guide that's out there, be it written or something you watch. So either you read it or you watch it. Check out year 1, year 3, normal mode, hard mode, challenge stuff, just to get yourself acclimated if you've never done the raid to what it'll kind of be like. And if you have done the raid like I have in Destiny 1, you watch it as a bit of a refresher. It definitely is helpful. So with that said, mindset. The mindset of contest mode is important, right? This is not going to be a walk in the park. Crota's End has a bit of a air about it as being a very quick raid, and part of that process is the fact that you get to dictate the encounter's speed way more so than other raids, and I think that'll still kind of hold true in the Destiny 2ification of it as a legend raid. But it's not going to be a walk in the park. We're going to be 20 power below it. It's going to be having more aggressive enemies, as they said, and shielded combatants more so, and so on. And we don't know the changes. So if you go in there expecting to be a walk in the park and not take it basically as seriously as you should in a game, to take something that is challenging end game stuff, it will punch you in the face and it won't be fun. Also, it's not about you, right? When I say that, what I mean by that is we all are there for the same reason. It's not about being a glory seeker for the most kills and the most damage. I'm not saying don't kill things well and don't damage well. It's just not what the team's going to care about. The team cares about victory. If we've been wiping a dozen times in a row on a certain encounter and there's a certain trend of a particular guardian either not doing enough damage or doing a lot of damage and they're not in divinity, let's say, or they're not killing a lot of enemies at all, then we might care insofar as how can we help out, what advice and what gearing changes could be made for that guardian, for that player, to be able to be more effective in the team and therefore maybe contribute better, which could help us out overall. And it might not even be that that's the problem, right? But that's when we would care. So it's not about you, team play, objective play, we're all here to do the same thing. With that said, let's build our toolbox a bit more specifically for the raid. Not just contest mode, but like in terms of weapons and stuff. Things to keep in mind here are going to be things that help us out either defensively or really slay out some stuff outside of the normal meta for weapons, such as Risk Runner. I mentioned this in the contest mode video, but I'm mentioning it here again. The amount of incoming arc damage is going to be quite high from Thrall melee, Curse Law explosions, as long as you're not too close to that, Wizard range shots, Crota's range shots, Boomer guns, right? So a good selection of arc damage coming your way. Risk Runner is really good for that. Snipers, for the second encounter specifically, I think could make a showing of force because you are going to have the fire team eventually split, and a lot of people on the far side trying to help out the near side, and so on and so forth. So a sniper can really help that because the distances are going to be quite large. Izanagi's Burden is a great sniper, of course, as usual. It works well as a normal sniper, and when you use the super shot it can do, it's going to be effective for yellow bars and champions. You could also use Cloud Strike. It's not a bad one. It's Arc, which can help with Night Shields, and it has a pretty cool effects. And Borealis, if you're really worried about shield popping at range, especially in the second encounter, Borealis has your back by giving you Void, Solar, or Arc, depending upon what you select it to, for what you need for popping shields. Hardlight does the same thing as an auto rifle, which benefits from the anti-barrierness of the season mod for auto rifles, and it also swaps Void, Solar, Arc. It over penetrates. It's not going to be a slouch. It's definitely a nice gun in general and can work out well here, despite maybe not really being thought of too much. Osteostriga and Thorn are other big ones, of course, to keep in mind for dealing with enemies. And a lot of other stuff par for the course, right? This is just where you want to build up a toolbox. You don't necessarily need it on your person, right? So just have them powered up and ready to go. Wish Ender, so on and so forth, Xenophage, and just have it ready. Consider having some stuff that can stun champions as well in case we do encounter unstoppables or barriers. We will counter one of them, that's for sure. When it comes to subclasses for each class, there's a lot you can do. You are not necessarily so relegated to one particular role unless you're a warlock, right? So, you know, have at it. Hunters, I recommend, outside of Strand, which is very strong, and Stasis, which is actually pretty good still, don't discount it. I recommend Omnioculus Void Hunter specifically for smoke bombing the fire team in the first encounter to go from lantern to lantern. That can be a really nice boon to have. Plus, it's nice in general, and it can be nice against Crota, I'm sure, for sword logic combat, right? And then either a Young Amkar Spine or a Caliban's Hand Solar Hunter build. This is because while Omnioculus Void Hunter is very nice with Tether to do a bunch of utility and survivability, these are actually quite nice for potentially dealing with enemies with high ability uptime if you can get melee kills, the power melee kills, to kind of do the infinite loop. Titans. Ward of Dawn Titans, however you want to build it. There's the Severance Enclosure, there's Heart of Endless Light, there's Helm of Saint 14. Ward of Dawn Titans in raids are always nice, and this raid is no different. Having a nice little bastion of safety that you can put down to kind of retreat to, or even to put over a ghost to revive in the thick of it, is very nice. But Strand Titan this season is off the chain, right? That's because the new aspect, Banner of War, makes Strand Titan even that much harder to kill, and they're already very beefy, tanky builds. Now, depending on how you want to run it, there's several ways you can run it. You have quite the powerhouse of a build for staying alive and providing some utility for your team. And good old Sunbreaker, Sunspot Titans will put in a lot of work here. I think those two are going to be the big ones you see alongside of Ward of Dawn. They all are really good. Titan has a lot of options just like Hunter and Warlock does, but those are the ones I'm calling out as kind of standouts. Warlocks, it's solar time, right? Well of Radiance is the best super in the game. To say, well, it's just because it's the way the game's encounters are made is a unnecessary statement, because that's of course how you judge things. So of course, but whether you're going to do Sun Bracers, Solar Grenade, Well of Radiance Warlock, or you're going to do some type of Fusion Grenade build, or some other type of build utilizing either Solar Grenade or Fusion Grenade using stuff like Verity's Brow, or Sanguine Alchemy, or Mantle of Battle Harmony, and so on, have several different exotics ready to go to kind of tool around with as a Solar Warlock, right? But if you're able to sub off of that, or if you guys are experimenting and decide you don't need the well in a particular engagement for whatever reason, Devour Warlocks will be quite strong with Void, right? Because you have Devour keeping you alive and a high grenade uptime because of that. And then you have Stasis. Omnioculus Warlocks are really good. Stasis on a Warlock with that build is very stout. It's like a pinnacle Stasis build. It is not just pinnacle for Stasis, it's a very good build in general for crowd control. This raid will be quite heavy on the ads, I'm sure. It's more of an action-oriented raid. This would be a very good build to have in your back pocket if well is for some reason not working out for the team, or there's enough of it going on that you can do something else, or you just decide you don't need it because you guys are crazy like that, right? So those are things to keep in mind. With all of that said, keep communications clear. Call out your username right in the game for when you're doing something beneficial, like, you know, bubble on Dorothy or whatever, right? Because that sounds like a Sentinel Titan, right? So you know to look for the name Dorothy in the game and run towards that bubble type, toward that bubble, right? Because it'll probably be right where you see that name. Or, you know, Healing Rift on Scarecrow or something, right? Whatever your name might be, whatever you're doing that's beneficial for the team to come and get, I recommend using your username as a call out so they know really quickly what name to scan for on the screen and to go towards it. Because, quite frankly, I'm pretty bad at knowing voices and tying them to names for most of the time. So it just helps things out with the clutter of call outs and just keep them clear, keep it clean, keep it laid back a bit, chill, don't, you know, keep your patience up, and you should have a good time. Build out your toolbox with both weapons and armor, some of what I mentioned, consider some of the builds I mentioned, and just have fun with it. And hopefully you can be on your path to success for killing Crota and getting whatever's going to happen for Necrochasm. In any case, again, share your thoughts, and thanks for sticking through it. Until next time, Guardians, stay frosty.